Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's July 24th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the state of California here, Nevada, Arizona, the Hawaiian Islands, Pacific Ocean here. Check out that system driving through the Pacific Northwest here, and the monsoon moisture pushing up in the south across some of the area. Can bring some thunderstorms here for the next few days. And above average temperatures here, pretty strong ridge continues to dominate a lot of the southwest. We'll take a look at that and the extended forecast as always. Taking a look at this day in Southern Cal weather history. Look at this. 1956, July 24th. Strong thunderstorm brought flash flooding to Joshua Tree, San Bernardino, Riverside, and Ontario. Look at this hail, almost the size of baseball. It's pretty extreme for California standards there. So interesting weather can happen this time of year. Nice stuff from the National Weather Service San Diego. And look at this, consecutive days with 110 plus for Phoenix, Arizona. We are now at 24, and we are likely headed towards probably about 30 days before we potentially get a little bit of a break here this weekend. But all-time record high streak ongoing there for Phoenix, Arizona. Crazy stuff. This is the chance of measurable rainfall today across some of the Southern California mountains there. Look at this Big Bear Lake. You guys could see a couple thunderstorms across the region today. Even some rainfall. I heard a little bit of sprinkles down here towards San Diego yesterday as well. But yeah, there you go. Some of this monsoon moisture making its way into California. Nothing too crazy though. A few strong thunderstorms possible Monday here. National Weather Service Hanford. You can see just off to the east there is Sequoia National Park, including Bishop, Ridgecrest, Barstow, Tonopah, Nevada here, and potentially Las Vegas and a lot of western Arizona as well. This is today and Tuesday, Las Vegas National Weather Service. You can see some of these thunderstorms mainly in western Arizona, but you can't rule out some activity on into southern Nevada here coming up. And this is critical fire conditions. Just a reminder, this is still ongoing across a lot of the areas, even though we've had a nice wet winter there in early spring across a lot of the Sierra Nevada there is still this, some of this fire danger here with the low relative humidity and the peak wind gusts. And you can see timing noon to 10 p.m. All it takes is one mistake. Just watch out there, heads up. A lot of these fires are human started. Storm risk today, not expecting severe gusts out there, but the storm's likely to fire up between 1 to 2 p.m. You can see we've got Tucson, Arizona here. You got Phoenix and Flagstaff, so you've got some chances for thunderstorm activity again today. Some blowing dust and brief localized downpours. All these storms have the possibility for dangerous lightning, so just keep that in the back of your mind here. And this is chance of showers and thunderstorms for Flagstaff, Arizona. Here it would be Flagstaff here, and you can see the percentages across a lot of the region, including Peach Springs, Williams, Grand Canyon Village, and again with that dangerous lightning potential. The high temperature yesterday across the USA, 124 at Stovepipe Wells, California. Nice. Very warm here. It continues across the region. And you can see this ridge of high pressure here. We're looking at about 30,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And you can see that clockwise rotation here, allowing some monsoon moisture to try to make its way up on the western periphery of this ridge here as we continue on in through Tuesday night here. And now we're moving on in through Wednesday. You can see it tracking back to the east a little bit here. So trying to keep the moisture going here, trying to get this monsoon moisture going. This is looking at the 500 millibar heights. And again, you can see the ridge here fairly strong, and it continues. Pinwheels back to the east a little bit, and it is quite strong at times. You can see the 600 line still showing up there across portions of New Mexico there. Now we're looking at the wider view of things here. You've got the Hawaiian Islands out here. You can see the trough and the system moving through the Pacific Northwest, strong ridge across much of the southwest here. And we'll just kind of watch this bubble off to the east a little bit here. But you notice we got these above average heights continuing on as we go on in through midweek here. A little bit of relaxation in some of this upper level ridge here across Northern California and Nevada. But then watch what happens as we go through the extended here. The GFS always got something crazy in its extended forecast as well. You can see that ridge kind of pushing off there and weakening a bit here. But then you'll notice it start to strengthen here as we go 200 plus hours out. The European also showing some ridging here, redeveloping here as we go through early August. And look at the GFS. Wants to bring this tropical system up towards Southern California. It's happened before. You can't completely rule it out, but it's just purely fantasy, something fun to look at for right now. This is looking at the European. This is the control run as of yesterday afternoon. This goes out 15 days, 360 hours. Something similar with that ridge somewhat weakening here and pushing off to the east a bit here. Troughs continue to try to move through the Pacific Northwest. But as we go way off 240 hours plus 10-day period, you can see the ridging building here across much of the west coast. Again, pretty strong ridge showing up in the extended forecast of the European. Again, just fantasy for now. We're just kind of taking a peek off into the future. This is day one excessive rainfall outlook, and any one of these storms can have some potential, heavy rainfall with it. You're not talking about widespread flooding, just kind of more localized flooding. This is day 2 and day 3 here, mainly off in through eastern Arizona up through Utah, New Mexico. Day 1 thunderstorm outlook, you can see it does include the Southern California mountains up into the Sierra Nevada a bit here, some portions of Nevada and Arizona, of course. Day 2, this threat pushes off to the east a bit, and day 3, it kind of stays there. As you can see, this will be Wednesday morning through Thursday morning. This is the European last night's run. Put it into motion. You can see some of this precipitation occurring in their morning hours here, and we go through the afternoon hours here across the higher terrain, mainly near Flagstaff. As we go on in through Tuesday afternoon as well, you can see not much showing here on the European, but as we go through Wednesday afternoon, a little bit more here across the area. So the monsoon just still having tough time to get going. The heights overall are pretty strong here. You got the warm temperatures aloft at 15, 18,000 feet, kind of suppressing some of the precipitation that's been going on. Even though we have had the monsoon moisture here, it's not been exceptionally strong or anything. This is looking at the GFS, so we're going to look at this all the way out through the 16-day time period here, and you can see some of the signs of monsoon moisture life here across Arizona, trying to get into California once we go into the 150-hour plus range, trying to get into Nevada as well. So, cross your fingers. We're kind of looking way off into the future here, but there's always some signs of the monsoon, I guess, if you look far enough out into the extended, and some of this even way off into the extreme fantasy forecast, trying to move up over mainland California all the way out to the coastal regions there. But just take that with a grain of salt right now. We're just kind of having fun with fantasy forecasts for a little bit here. This is looking all the way out past 1,100 hours out here, and you can kind of see this is the dry time of the year for much of the west coast here, extending up to the Pacific Northwest. Some of these weak mid-latitude cyclones trying to make their way into the Pacific Northwest generally don't get down here into California, and if you're not getting monsoon moisture, then you can end up extremely dry here. This goes all the way through September 6th there. So yeah, monsoon, mid-latitude cyclones, and the dry area. This is that time of year here for California, a lot of it when you're not getting that monsoon moisture in there. 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook above average here. I don't know about this. The signal is not that strong, although some monsoon moisture is there. An 8 to 14 day, better chances here across the area. We'll see how this trends here, kind of him and hawing at this. This is 6 to 10 day temperature probability, maybe towards average here for Northern California, but above average for much of the region here. And 8 to 14 day goes out through Sunday, August 6th. This is for Phoenix. Check it out. So we're at 25 today, potentially 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 before we potentially break that 110-degree streak. We might get 30 days there, Saturday potentially being the last day, but it's going to be closer. You can still see getting up to 108 Sunday and Monday, still above average here through the extended forecast for Phoenix, and maybe we'll start another streak there. No promises there, but you can see above average conditions expected through the 15-day time period. This is Bakersfield, again, above average here as well. You're pushing 110 on some of these days here coming up, and the overnight lows above average as well. This is Fresno, California. Very warm out there, also above average conditions through the next couple of weeks, it looks like. Sacramento kind of bouncing down towards average here as we go through Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe a bit of a bounce back through the weekend coming up here. This is Eureka. Check it out. These highs, the average high this time of year is only 60, 61 degrees. We're right around average. We just do not have that offshore flow that can bring some heat to the coastal regions of California right now. So we're just kind of stuck there with that marine layer and that ocean influence kind of dictating the temperatures there you're getting on the coastline. San Francisco, very similar here as well. As you can see, right around average here, maybe even a little bit below here with that cooler than normal water off some of the central and southern California coastline. This is looking July 1st through July 23rd. You can see the heat that's been going on so far this month across the Pacific Northwest, across California, now above average for much of the state, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. A lot of the south has been above average, and then northeast as well. The only place below average here is across some of the plains, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and through the Dakotas there, and some portions of Colorado, Wyoming, and eastern Montana. This is so far for 2023, and you can see that again, I've been showing this daily. We're kind of updating this. We did get a little bit of an uptick in the anomaly there, temperature anomaly, and you can see the east versus the west here, well below average here across much of the west, and above average for a lot of the east. This is looking at the fire danger, the dry lightning potential here across some of northeast Arizona, but not doing too bad across Nevada and California right now. All it takes is one fire to start causing issues here. This is looking at the, this was updated today, Nino 3.4. We are still at 1.1 here. That is into moderate territory, and that's where we measure these conditions for ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation. That would be Australia, South America, and Mexico, and Hawaii there. So that's where we measure these conditions. And you can see our climb out of La Nina towards the El Nino conditions there. And you can see the coast off of South America, very anomalously warm here in that box for the Nino 1.2 region. And this is looking at the last 4 weeks, sea surface temperatures anomaly, departure from normal here. And look at South America, very warm. You can see the tongue extended out here. Kind of a classic looking La Nina signature here, but there's more to it than just that. I'll show you that right now. As you can see, a lot of the oceans across the planet are well above average here. And a lot of times El Nino, its driver is based on that gradient, just on the differences here across the equatorial Pacific. And you don't have it too much. So we're kind of in uncharted territory here. Maybe it'll act more like a neutral year. Who knows? You know, we'll have to wait and see as to what happens with some of these, anomalously warm waters here across the Pacific, the Atlantic Ocean here, and across a lot of the southern oceans as well. Now, this is looking at the last 4 weeks here. You can see some of this area up towards Europe cooling down a bit here, but you can see El Nino kind of slowed down quite a bit here, and it's warming as we go. A little bit of area even dropped down a little bit here, but you can see some areas continuing to warm up there as well. Some of the Central Pacific cooled down there also. But anyway, the summary is we are still in that El Nino advisory here. El Nino conditions are observed, and 90% chance it's going to be going on into fall, winter, and probably on into next spring as well. So we'll watch that as we go. Of course, we're going to be watching the individual systems roll in here, and eventually by the time we get into next year, we'll kind of see what this El Nino has brought. And it's going to be kind of interesting here because, like I showed you, a lot of the temperatures across the entire planet are quite warm here for the ocean area. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like, subscribe, leave some comments below. What else would you like to see? And we'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.